पेमेंट को नहीं होगा। शेयर स्क्रीन, हेलो श्रेया।
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so from where we have to start?
Yeah,
Golgi.
Golgi apparatus.
Okay. Okay. So in last class we have studied about endoplasmic reticulum. Now we'll be heading towards Golgi apparatus. So you have to remember the name of the scientist as well. Camillo Golgi. In 1898, he observed that there are some densely stained, means highly stained reticular structures that are present near the nucleus, and they were later named as Golgi bodies after the name of the scientist that discovered the Golgi. Okay. And what are the different features or different body parts of this Golgi? So they consist of many flat disc-shaped sacs known as cisternae. So these are the cisternae that are quite similar to that in case of endoplasmic reticulum. And the size is about 0.5 micrometer to 1.0 micrometer in diameter, means in width. And they are stacked very parallel to each other. Whereas in case of endoplasmic reticulum, they are quite different. They are not stacked together. So these this number of cisternae vary, they may be different in different cells of the Golgi, where the Golgi is present. Okay, so number of cisternae is not fixed, there will be 5 cisternae in each Golgi. We can't say like this. Okay, so these Golgi cisternae, they are arranged near to nucleus with distinct convex cis and trans phase. So these Golgi, what is the function of Golgi? I have told you in early, last class. So what's the function of endoplasmic reticulum?
Secretion of proteins.
Yeah, synthesis and secretion of proteins, and they are
packed in vesicles.
Packed in vesicles. Then what is the main function of this Golgi is, this Golgi transport the proteins to their destination. Like there are some proteins that are to be sent to let's say let's take an example to lungs, then they will send to there are some proteins that are to be sent to liver, then they will be sent to liver with the help of this Golgi. Okay, so this is a diagram of Golgi. This region represents the cis space that is receiving the vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum to Golgi. These proteins that are enclosed in a vesicle coming from endoplasmic reticulum will enter into Golgi through this phase. Okay, close the door. So these are the cisternae. And these are the newly forming cisternae that are responsible for transporting the protein from Golgi to other parts of the body, and it is known as transphase. So what is cis phase? Cis phase is the phase of the Golgi from which receives the proteins packed in vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum, and transphase is the phase from where the proteins are packed in the vesicles will be sent to different parts. Okay, so now the difference between the cis and trans phase of Golgi is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so Golgi apparatus, what's the function of Golgi apparatus is that the main function of Golgi apparatus is that it helps in packaging of materials, and packaging of materials that are to be delivered to either intracellular or secreted outside. So what do you mean by intracellular? Means if there is requirement of some materials within the cell, then Golgi will work for transportation of the materials within the cell, as well as the proteins that are to be secreted out of the cells are also transported with the help of Golgi, and the proteins will be enclosed in the vesicles. Okay.
Yes,
so the materials to be packed in form of vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum fuse. So now we can like we will understand the mechanism of the transport of proteins. So the proteins that are to be transported are enclosed in the vesicles, will reach the cis phase of the Golgi, then they will move throughout these cisternae. ठीक है, so they will move towards these vesicles. Now they will be packed in the vesicles only, then they will be discharged out, like they will be released or they will be detached from this towards this trans phase, and they will be shipped to the place where they are required and enclosed within the secretory vesicles. So now you can see that they are known as transport vesicles, because they are like they are transporting the proteins enclosed in the vesicles from endoplasmic reticulum to Golgi. So they are transport vesicles, and the vesicles that are responsible for releasing proteins from the trans phase are known as secretory vesicles. It is confusing, Shreya? It is clear, or I should?
It's clear.
It's clear?
Yes, ma'am.
You can stop me at any point if you don't find like understanding
Ma'am,
anything.
it's clear.
Okay, fine.
Ma'am,
Okay.
just a doubt. Do any other secretions get added inside the Golgi apparatus into the protein vesicles?
It might be possible, but basically like proteins are only involved, but here it is written that the materials or the materials that are required inside the cell, so it might be possible that few other things were also, like transportation work is basically done by Golgi only.
Okay, ma'am.
Secretion, like transportation is done by endoplasmic reticulum, and the secretion of the proteins or anything that is required at any place of the body or cell, that is done by this Golgi only.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, because here it is written that its main function is packaging materials, so materials may involve other thing as well.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so now what is the difference between the secretory vesicles and that what other is transport vesicles? So these secretory vesicles, they consist of materials that are to be excreted out from the cells, such as waste, hormones, or any other material. Secretory vesicles include synaptic vesicles and vesicles in endocrine tissues. Means the synaptic vesicles that are related to the nervous system or neuron, and the vesicles of endocrine tissues, we know that exocrine and endocrine, two glands are there. They're responsible for secreting hormone. One is ductless and one is duct full. So I think that is included in, like that will be present in your one of the chapter. I will explain you when that chapter we will do. So till now you can like you have to remember that secretory vesicles are responsible for transporting the waste material and the hormones all over the body where it is required. Okay, so last is what? Lysosomes. Okay, no, it's not last, it's next. Lysosomes. So what are lysosomes? Like they are let us see the structure of lysosome. This is the structure of lysosome. This is the outer membrane of the lysosomes, and these pores represents the membrane transport proteins. Okay, and this green layer represents the lipid layer, and the thing that is present inside this lipid layer represents the hydrolytic enzyme mixture. Means mixture of large number of hydrolytic enzymes that are responsible for hydrolysis of something. So these Golgi are the membrane bound vesicular structures. They are formed by the process of packaging in the Golgi apparatus. Okay, so how they are formed? They are formed by the process of packaging in the Golgi apparatus. Means when the packaging process is occurring in the Golgi apparatus, at that time these lysosomes are formed. They are packed vesicular structure. The isolated lysosomal vesicles have been found to be very rich in almost all type of hydrolytic enzymes. Means the lysosomes that are present in a ball-like structure or a vesicle-like structure, they are very rich in different types of hydrolytic enzyme. Example, which are the enzymes that are present in the lysosomes? Lipase, protease, and carbohydrate. So I have highlighted this. It means a question can be asked from this. Okay, it's important. And these all enzymes are optimally means minimally active at the acidic pH. Okay, so these as the name suggests, lipase means it is able to, this enzyme is capable to digest lipid. Protease means this enzyme is capable to
Break down protein.
yeah, protein. And carbohydrates is able to digest carbohydrate.
Carbohydrates.
Okay. So what are hydrolase enzyme? I have added the definition of hydrolase enzyme as well. They are the group of enzymes that catalyze bond cleavages of by reaction with water. Means how they are able to catalyze. If someone asks you hydrolase, what is the function? What are hydrolase enzyme and what? How do they function? So you have to say the hydrolysis enzymes are the hydrolytic enzyme. Hydrolytic is related to water. Okay, so these are the enzymes that catalyze the bond cleavages. Means the cleavage, the breaking down of the bond is catalyzed by them by reaction with water. Okay, so they use water for cleavage of the bond, like they use water for catalyzing the bond cleavage. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And the lysosomes are also known as suicidal bags. So a question can be asked out of the following organelles, which is known as suicidal bag. So you have to say it is lysosome.
Lysosomes.
Okay. Because why they are known as suicidal bag? If someone asks you, then you have to answer because they contain hydrolytic enzymes. So their main function is to digest food. They also cause lysis of the cell after they die. So someone must have thought, okay, like many of the cells undergo apoptosis. If the cell will start doing apoptosis, so like cancer will occur. So where the dead cell will go, so these lysosomes are responsible for the lysis of the cell after it gets died. Like when the cell dies, it is known as apoptosis. So if it is died, then few things will remain behind. So those things are hydrolyzed or lysed by the lysosomes. Okay, so there are three main functions of the lysosome. First is breakdown of macromolecules like carbohydrate, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid into simpler molecules. Second is cell membrane repair. And the third is response against foreign substances such as bacteria, virus, and other antigens. What will happen if our body, like some virus or bacteria entered in our body, then these lysosomes can recognize them and they will engulf them or they will destroy them by the hydrolyzed enzyme that are present inside them. Okay, fine. Should I proceed, Shreya? Is there any
Yes,
doubt?
ma'am. Everything's clear.
Okay, fine. So next is vacuoles. So this is the structure of vacuole. The outer layer of vacuole is known as tonoplast, and this central blue color thing represents the cell sap, and this small area represented by white represent the central vacuole. So what are different parts? We will study. Okay. So what is the vacuole? It is a membrane bound space found in the cytoplasm. Okay. Cytoplasm of the plants, basically it is found. Okay. Animals maybe it will be present, but basically the like in case of plant cell, most of the region or area of the cell is occupied by vacuole. I have told you earlier also. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the membrane bound space that is found in the cytoplasm. What does it consist of? It consists of water, sap. This is like water, sap, excretory product, and the other materials that are not useful for the cell. So basically, this is responsible for storage. Okay, so the vacuole is bound by a single membrane known as tonoplast. So if it is asked that out of the following cell organelle, which is the organelle that is covered by a single membrane or that is bound by a single membrane, then you have to answer vacuole. And double membrane cell organelles are which? Give.
Mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, and
No, beta,
ER.
lysosome.
ER.
Membrane. No.
Lysosome single membrane.
Yeah. So
ER.
Golgi, no, sorry, not Golgi, your mitochondria and your plastid, chloroplast, they
Yes,
are
ma'am.
double membrane. And the nucleus is single membrane. Nucleus is also double membrane.
Mom, nucleus also.
I don't think so. Let me see. Wait. Nucleus is single membrane, I think. Wait. Double membrane. Nuclear envelope is a double membrane structure, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
It's bounded by a double membrane known as nuclear envelope. Okay, so single membrane is this vacuole only, okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So this is the structure of vacuole. Okay, so the layer of the vacuole is known as, membrane of the vacuole is known as tonoplast, okay? So in plant cells, these vacuole can occupy about 90% of the volume of the cell. In plants, the tonoplast, what is the function of this tonoplast in plant? It facilitates the transport of a number of ions and other material against the concentration gradient into vacuole. So against the concentration gradient means what, Shreya?
From a lower region to higher concentration.
Yeah, from lower to higher concentration. So if like what should be requirement for this type of transport? What is the requirement?
Energy.
Yeah, energy
ATP.
in form of ATP. Okay, so it is known as which type of transport?
Active transport.
Hmm. Okay, so vacuolar membrane, that is tonoplast, it is the cytoplasmic membrane that surrounds the vacuole. So this is a definition of tonoplast. If someone asks you what is tonoplast, then you have to tell it is the membrane, outer membrane of the vacuole, and oh, what it is doing. So it is separating the vacuolar contents that are present inside the vacuole from the cell cytoplasm. As a membrane, it is mainly involved in regulating the movement of ions in and out of the cell and isolating materials that might be harmful or threat for the cell. Okay, so because it is membrane bound, so main function is what? It will prevent anything from coming inside the vacuole, as well as it will divide the vacuolar contents from the outer cytoplasm, okay, or the outer portion of the cell. And there is one more thing, the central vacuole. So what is this central vacuole? This central vacuole is a large vacuole that is found inside the plant cell, inside the vacuole of the plant cell, okay? Inside the vacuole, a central vacuole is present in case of plant cell. So a vacuole is a sphere filled with fluid and molecules inside a cell. And the central vacuole, kya karta hai? What is the function, or what is like the things that are present in central vacuole? They stores water and maintains the turgor pressure in the plant cell. So if someone asks you which portion of the vacuole is responsible for maintaining the turgor pressure in plant cell, then you have to tell it is central vacuole, because it consists of water, or the water of the cell is stored within this central vacuole. In plant cell, the water is stored within the vacuole, and which region of the vacuole? Central vacuole. और उसके अलावा all other aside from the storage, the main role of central vacuole is to maintain the turgor pressure against the cell wall. And what are the things that are present in this cell sap? All the other materials, like koi bhi chemical, like something sodium, potassium, whatever it is required, they all materials are present. All those materials will be present in cell sap, and this central vacuole only consists of water. Okay, so like this vacuole is mainly responsible for storage. Okay, so all other things other than water will be stored in this cell sap, and the water will be stored in this central vacuole region of the cytoplasm of the vacuole. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so in the vacuole, sugars, amino acid, waste substances such as tannins, and the mineral salts will be stored within the vacuole. and they are filled with the cell sap to provide the buoyancy and support to the cell. So you know what is buoyancy means?
Floating, something like floating.
Yeah. So what are the things that are present in the cell sap? Once again, sugar, salts, amino acid, and water. So water will be present in uh, that what region? Central vacuole. Okay. So except plants, this vacuole will also be present in case of amoeba. The contractile vacuole is present, and what is the function of that contractile vacuole? Osmoregulation. We will be studying this in chapter 7, I think, about amoeba. Amoeba ke bare mein is that is present in some chapter, one chapter, I don't know. So there we will learn about this contractile vacuole. So it is present in amoeba, and its main function is osmoregulation, that is maintaining the osmotic pressure of the amoeba and excretion. Okay, should I proceed, Shreya, or is there any doubt, beta?
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. Huh? Okay, so next is mitochondria. Okay, so what is the structure of mitochondria? This is mitochondria. So this is again double membrane structure. This is the outer portion of the mitochondria known as outer membrane, and this is the inner membrane of the mitochondria. This green color area represents the matrix, and these orange color region represents the cristae. Okay, so we will intermembranous space, that is the space that is between that is present between the outer and inner membrane. You can see here in this diagram two layers are there. So this outer layer is outer membrane, and this inner layer is inner membrane, and this orange color is intermembranous space, that is the space between two membranes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what are mitochondria? Like these mitochondria, the number of mitochondria is variable or varies from the cells, like depends on the physiological activity of the cells. Suppose some of the cells are responsible for, like some of the cells are playing an important role for different physiological activities, then the number of bacteria, number of mitochondria will be more in them. Whereas there are some cells that are like least involved in different physiological activities, so they will consist of less amount of mitochondria, because what is the main function of mitochondria is production of ATP, energy generation. That's why. Okay. Okay. So what is the shape of the mitochondria? It is shows a shape or cylindrical shape having a diameter of 0.2 to 1.0 micrometer, and its length is also given here. So it is a double membrane bound structure with outer and inner membrane, and dividing its lumen distinctly into two aqueous compartments. So lumen is the central region. So it is divided into two compartments, the outer compartments and the inner compartment. So this is the outer compartment, orange, and this is the green color represents the inner compartment. This is matrix. So the inner compartment is filled with a dense homogeneous substance known as matrix. So this is the inner compartment consists of matrix. Okay.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
and the outer membrane forms the continuous limiting boundary of the organelle, and the inner membrane. Okay, ठीक है. इसके बाद what will happen? The inner material जो था, inner membrane, it will consist of two things. This green color represents matrix, and this orange color represents cristae. Okay, so it will again be divided into two regions. It will consist of some like tubular structures. That inner portion of the tubular structure is known as matrix, and the outer side facing towards the inner membrane is known as cristae.
Okay, ma'am.
So what is the function of these cristae is they increases the surface area of the mitochondria inner membrane. So the inner layer has fold known as cristae that increases the surface area of the inner membrane. So the area surrounded by the folds is called mitochondrial matrix. Okay, so cristae and mitochondrial matrix, they are the two important regions of that are present towards inside of the inner membrane, and these cristae are responsible for increasing the surface area of the inner side of the mitochondria. And what are their roles? So these cristae and matrix are not okay, they are just formed for the design, like they are different things, and they are responsible for performing very important and different role in cellular respiration. So both the matrix and cristae are involved in cellular respiration, but they have different functions or different roles. Okay, so and the second is mitochondrial matrix. So what does this mitochondrial matrix consist of? It consists of large variety of enzymes, including those that converts the pyruvate into fatty acid to acetyl coenzyme A. These are some process, glycolysis, Krebs cycle. Those you will be studying in your next class. Like in 12th standard, you are going to study these different types of cell cycles that are responsible for generation of ATP and nitrogen metabolism. So for now, you have to remember the only things that are written here. That what is the function of mitochondrial matrix? It is responsible for conversion of pyruvate to fatty acid and fatty acid to acetyl coenzyme A. And the second is that they are responsible for oxidizing the acetyl coenzyme A to CO2 through citric acid cycle. So there are different types of cycles: citric acid, Krebs cycle, CAM cycle, C2, C4, C3. You will be going to study in 12th standard. Okay.
Okay.
So like the two membranes that are present in the mitochondria are responsible, or they have their own specific enzymes that are associated with function of mitochondria. So mitochondria are the sites of aerobic respiration. So a question can be asked, okay? Or if it is asked why the mitochondria is double membrane structure, then you have to answer because both the membranes present in the mitochondria have their specific functions, or they consist of enzymes that are responsible for performing specific functions. Okay, and it is the mitochondria is responsible for aerobic respiration, or it is the site where the respiration will occur in presence of air, oxygen, aerobic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes.
what they produce cellular energy in form of ATP. Hence they are also known as powerhouse of the cell. So if someone asks you which organelle is known as cell powerhouse of the cell, then you have to answer mitochondria. And why? Because they produce cellular energy in form of ATP. Or if you will simply write, it is responsible for production of ATP, that is used as a form of energy, or that is used as energy source for by our cells or our body. Then you will get full marks.
Okay.
Okay, and the matrix, one very important and interesting thing is that the matrix of the mitochondria consists of its own single circular DNA molecule, a few RNA molecules, ribosomes, and the components required for the synthesis of proteins. The mitochondria divides by fission. So till now we have studied that the nucleus consists of genetic material, that is DNA or
Yes,
chromosome.
ma'am.
But mitochondria have their own single circular DNA, their own RNA molecules, their own ribosomes, and different components that are required for synthesis of proteins. And what is the mode of reproduction by mitochondria is fission. They reproduce or they divide by the method of fission. Okay, so this is important thing. That's why I have highlighted it. Okay. So it's clear. Should I proceed, Shreya?
Yes, ma'am.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Okay. So, sir, I have not added you till now in that group, है ना?
I joined the group.
You joined the group?
Google Classroom.
No, beta, I can't see you. I have just checked Google before.
Sai Shri already.
Oh, yeah. Now you are visible. Wait. Let me see. I have just checked it before the class. But so you got the notes for this chapter as well. That is.
Ma'am, yeah, I have to check. I've not yet checked it. I just joined. I was in a hurry.
Okay, fine. Because I have added the notes for all the chapters in this Google only.
Okay, ma'am. I'll check it.
I'll see in last. Okay. So plastids. Okay, plastids. So what are plastids? So let's see first diagram. So plastids are, let's see definition first. What are plastid? They are found in all plant cells and in euglenoids. So these plastids will be absent in animal cells. Okay, क्योंकि chloroplast will only be present in plant
Plant
cells.
cells.
These plastids will be present in plant cells and in euglenoids, because blue green algae and that those algae are colorful. You have studied that chapter in your school.
Ma'am, the classification one.
Hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that you have seen red algae, green algae,
Yes, ma'am.
what one more type, brown algae. So in that these are present. उसमें उनका नाम कुछ different होता है. I forgot the name. So what are plastids? They are easily observed under microscope because they are very large in number and they consist of specific pigments. Therefore, they are responsible for imparting color to the plants. So on the basis of presence of pigments, these plastids can be classified into three types: chloroplast, chromoplast, and leucoplast. So what are they? Chromoplast are green in color because they consist of chlorophyll as their pigment that is responsible for imparting green color to plants. And the second is chromoplast. They may be other color other than green, means they may be purple, they may be pink, they may be yellow other than green. If the plant is uh, having different color other than green, then they consist of chromoplast. And the third is leucoplast, means without any color. If the plant is transparent or colorless, it means they consist of leucoplast. Okay, so what does the chloroplast consist of? They consist of chlorophyll and carotenoid that are responsible for trapping the light energy that is essential for photosynthesis. That's why the process of photosynthesis occur in the leaves, because they consist of chlorophyll and carotenoid. They are responsible for trapping the light energy and responsible for production of food by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, and in the chromoplast, fat soluble carotenoid pigments like carotene and xanthophylls will be present. Okay, the second, that is chromoplast, that doesn't consist of chlorophyll, that consists of carotene and xanthophylls, and they gives a specific color to plant, that is yellow, orange, or red. Okay, and the third is leucoplast. They are colorful plastid and they stored nutrients like amylo. They are again of two types: amyloplast that stored carbohydrate, that is a starch in case of potato, and the second is elioplast that stores the oil and fats, and the third is aleuroplast that stored proteins. So there are three types. Okay, so it's confusing. Should I repeat it?
Yes, ma'am. The last point.
Okay. So first is chloroplast, consists of chlorophyll and carotenoid. Second is chromoplast, that consists of carotene and xanthophyll. Chloroplast will impart green color. Chromoplast will impart yellow, orange, or red color. And leucoplast, that is colorless. Their main purpose is to store the nutrients. So they will be of three types again: amyloplast, that is stored carbohydrate or a starch. The second is elioplast, that stores oil and fats, and the third is aleuroplast that store proteins. So there are three types of leucoplast. They are
Okay, ma'am.
colorless, but they are responsible for storing the nutrients.
Okay, ma'am. It's
So this is
clear.
an important thing. I think a question will come. What is plastid? What are its type? Or a short question can come. Okay, different types of explain or like given what are the different types of leucoplast with example. So amyloplast ka to I have got the example, but aleuroplast and elioplast ka I have not added the example. I think I forgot. Okay, so this is like a chart, so that it will make easy for you to understand, like remember. This is plastid. Elioplast will store oil. Chromoplast will store Pigment synthesis, chloroplast green color का होगा, lipid synthesis करेगा, like their functions are also given in this table. The chloroplast, like the elioplast का function क्या होगा? It is involved in crystalline prolamellar bodies, precursor of chlorophyll. And chromoplast का function है pigment synthesis and storage. Chloroplast, it is involved in photosynthesis and lipid synthesis. Leucoplast, they are responsible for synthesis of fatty acids and amino acids. Amyloplast for storage of starch and sugar. Elioplast for storage of lipids and oils. And proteinoplast, they are sites of enzyme, that is protein activity. This is extra. This is not given in your book, but
Okay, ma'am.
you are going to write NEET, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Something different, like something extra you should study from your book.
Okay, ma'am.
I did this, okay? Okay, how much time is left, beta?
Ma'am, it's 4:43.
Okay. Okay, fine. So the majority of chloroplast of green plants are found in the mesophyll cells of the leaves. So mesophyll cells that are leaves, because there is like the leaf is also consist of different types of cell. So the mesophyll cells in leaves consist of most of the chloroplast. So if it is asked that which portion of leaf is responsible for photosynthesis, then you have to tell mesophyll cell. Why? Because it consists of maximum amount of chloroplast. And these are lens shaped oval spherical discoid or even ribbon like organelles having the variable length, these mesophyll cells. So these mesophyll cells looks like this. So this is the like upper layer of the leaf, and this represents the mesophyll cell. This is upper epidermis of the leaf, this is lower epidermis of leaf. इनके बाद this is a pair of palisade tissue, and these are the mesophyll cells. So these mesophyll cells consist of chloroplast in maximum number, and they are responsible for photosynthesis process. They are involved in photosynthesis process, and that process will occur in the plastid. Plastid के अंदर thylakoid and lumen will be there. So now we are going to study plastid, I think. Chloroplast. So like mitochondria, the
Ma'am, just a second. I'll go inside the room.
okay, beta. Should I start, beta?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So it's raining there.
No, ma'am, my brother started the TV. That's why I came inside the room.
No, I'm just asking normally, is it raining there?
No, ma'am. Not raining.
Okay. So like mitochondria, the chloroplast is also a double membranous structure. So of the two, the inner chloroplast membrane is relatively less permeable. So a question can be asked that the chloroplast is also a double membrane structure, but what is the difference between both the membranes is that the inner membrane of the chloroplast is relatively less permeable in comparison to outer membrane. Means anything can come, anything can be exchanged or come and go outside and inside of the outer membrane, but it is very difficult to cross the inner membrane of the chloroplast. Okay. So what is stroma in chloroplast? The space limited by the inner membrane of the chloroplast is known as stroma. So this region represents stroma. So this first understand the diagram. This is the outer layer or outer membrane of the chloroplast. This is the inner membrane of the chloroplast. This is the stroma of the chloroplast. And this single coin-like structure is known as granum. And the stacks of granum is known as thylakoid. and this region that is present between the stroma of two thylakoids is known as stroma lamellae, or the region that connects two thylakoid, that is group of granum, is known as stroma lamella. Okay, so don't get confused. Many times we get confused what is difference between grana and thylakoid. So grana is the single ovular structure of present in the stroma of the chloroplast, and when these grana are arranged in form of stacks, then they are known as thylakoid. A group of grana are known as thylakoids. Okay, so
Yes,
what are
ma'am.
thylakoids? These thylakoids are arranged in stacks like the piles of coins known as grana. So this is single grana, again grana, and they collectively known as thylakoid. Single is known as granum, and the intergranal thylakoids, that is the thylakoids that are inter intra inter means between two stacks of granum. The क्या लिखा है मैंने ग्रेना और द ओके ठीक है forget it. In addition, there are flat membranous tubule structure known as stroma lamellae that connects the thylakoid of the different grana. Okay, as I told you earlier, a single circular unit or of this oval shaped structure is known as grana. When they are arranged in stack, they are known as thylakoid. This is one thylakoid, this is another thylakoid. So a membranous structure that connects these two stacks of thylakoid is known as stroma lamellae. Okay, so the membrane of thylakoid encloses a space known as lumen. That is the space that is present in this membrane of thylakoid is known as lumen, and the stroma of the chloroplast consists of many enzymes that are required for synthesis of carbohydrates and proteins. It also consists of small, okay, again, so see the this chloroplast also consists of, okay, double stranded circular DNA. So in case of mitochondria, the DNA is also present. In case of chloroplast, the DNA is also present. But there is one difference in the DNA in both cases.
Ma'am, this is double and the other one was singular.
Yeah,
Circular.
both are circular. That was also circular. This is also circular, but that is single stranded, and this is double stranded. Okay? And they also consist of ribosomes. So if it is asked, okay, basically the nucleus consists of the genetic material, but which organelle consists of their own DNA, then you have to answer mitochondria and chloroplast. And if it is asked that what is the difference in the genetic material that is present in mitochondria and chloroplast, then you have to answer the same, that mitochondria consist of single stranded circular DNA, and chloroplast consists of double stranded circular DNA. Okay, so these chlorophyll pigments, they are present in the thylakoids, and the ribosomes of chloroplast are smaller, that is 70S, than the cytoplasmic ribosomes. As we studied that prokaryotes consist of 70S and eukaryotes consist of 80S. So in the chlorophyll ke andar ribosomes will be of 70S type, whereas in cytoplasm, that is outside in the cell area where all the cell organelles will be present, so this ribosome will also be present, that will be of 80S type, but the chloroplast ribosome is of 70S type.
Ma'am, in mitochondria also it was 70S.
It is not written there, but I think it should be 70S. It was written there.
Yes, ma'am, it was written. You showed it.
Wait, just a minute. Yeah, mitochondrial ribosomes are also of 70S. Yeah. Okay. So this is the structure of different parts of chloroplast. This is the outer membrane. This is a space that is present between outer and inner membrane. And these are, single is known as grana or granum, and the group of grana are known as thylakoid. This is the thylakoid lamella, and this is the lumen. That is the central region that is present in the granum or inside of the thylakoid. So if chloroplast ka question will come, and if it is written that you have to draw the diagram, then draw this diagram. Okay. So next organelle is ribosome. I think today we are going to finish this chapter. Ribosomes. So what are ribosomes? They are granular structures that are first observed under the electron microscope by the scientists. So beta, for this chapter, I will suggest you to learn the name of the scientist along with the year also.
Okay,
Because
ma'am.
many times, like the name of the scientist will be asked many times. Okay. So they are composed of ribonucleic acid, that is RNA, and proteins, and they are not surrounded by any membrane. That's why they are present in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. In eukaryotes, ATS will be present, and in prokaryotes, 70S ribosome will be present. So the diagram I have explained you earlier also about
Yes,
large
ma'am.
units.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So a question can be asked, what are the subunits of ATS ribosomes? Two subunits are
1640.
60S and 70S ka 50S and 30S.
30 years.
What do you mean by this S? This S represents Swedberg units, and sedimentation Swedberg unit, that stands for sedimentation coefficient. So what do you mean by sedimentation coefficient? It is indirectly a measure of density and size. Okay, S represents Swedberg unit, or it stands for sedimentation coefficient. Sedimentation coefficient means it is measure of density and size. Okay, and the last is cytoskeleton. So what are cytoskeleton? They are an elaborate network of filamentous proteinaceous structures that consist of microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments. So cytoskeleton is like it is a filamentous structure that will be made up of three types of like structures: microtubules, microfilaments, and intermediate filaments that are present in cytoplasm and collectively known as cytoskeleton. So microtubule, microfilament, and intermediate filaments are three types of filaments that are responsible for making cytoskeleton. On what is the cytoskeleton? What is the function of the cytoskeleton? They are involved in many functions like mechanical support to the cell, for the motility, like these microfilaments and microtubules are responsible for providing motility to the cell and for maintenance of the shape of the cell. So these are the diagrams of like they are quite higher class. 12th standard 11th standard का नहीं है ये diagram, but just I have added to explain you about what are microfilaments and microtubules. So I have added this diagram, like the detailed things about the differences between these three is given here. You can like download, or you can get the notes from that Google Classroom for this chapter. And if you find any difficulty, you can ask me anytime. So let me explain you few things about them. So this is an protofilament. Protofilament means a single layer of this represent protofilament. Again, this is protofilament. So it is a polymer. So it is made up of alpha, beta, alpha, beta, alpha, beta repeating subunits. Two subunit का बना होगा. Okay. So alpha, beta tubulin heterodimers. It is named as that. So alpha and beta are like repeated in heterodimer, means they are repeated alpha beta subunits, and the monomer in case of this microtubule, microfilament, this is microfilament, this is microtubule. So this is the monomer of this is known as G actin. इनके लिए monomer होगा alpha beta, and like the monomer in case of microfilament is alpha tubulin and beta tubulin. In case of uh, my microfilament, microtubule, this is microtubule is G actin. G actin is its monomer. It consists of polarity, that it consists of plus end and minus end. Thoda higher hai. Like there is no need of you to learn these things, but I have added acha laga diagram, so I thought at least you should know what is the structure of microfilament, microtubule, and intermediate filament, and what are their functions. So the functions are also given here. So you can read it from that table, and if you find any difficulty, you can ask me. Okay,
Okay,
beta?
ma'am.
Should I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the last is cilia and flagella. So what are cilia and what are flagella? They are hair-like outgrowth of the cell membrane. Means if someone asks you what is the base for cilia and flagella? Or the cilia or flagella are arising from which portion of the cell? Then you have to tell they are an outgrowth of the cell membrane. They are small structures that works like oars, causing the movement either of the cell or surrounding fluids. As we know that cilia and flagella are responsible for movement. आपके उसमें plasmodium and amoeba में भी
Locomotion.
yeah, locomotion के लिए. So the flagella are comparatively very less longer and responsible for cell movement. The prokaryotic bacteria consist of flagella, but they are structurally different from that of eukaryotic flagella. So what are the function of cilia? They are responsible for movement of the cell or surrounding fluid, whereas flagella are responsible for cell movement. They are responsible for movement of cell or the surrounding fluid. Means fluid का भी movement cilia के through हो सकता है, but flagella is mainly responsible for movement of the cell. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Chapter बहुत बड़ा हो गया यार ये chapter. So this is the diagram of cilia and this is the diagram of flagella. So cilia will be present in many numbers. They are present in large number, but flagella एक या दो वैसा ही it will be present. So okay, so this is the diagram of cilia and flagella. So this outer layer represents the what? This is the outer membrane or the plasma membrane, and they okay. ये diagram तो you can see later on. They consist of central tubules. So what are these? These are red colored structures. ये इनको orientation के लिए they are responsible, and they are connected by a bridge that is enclosed by a central shaft which is connected to one of the tubules of okay मैंने कुछ skip किया I think एक मिनट हाँ okay हाँ I have skipped this. Okay, so the electron microscopic study of cilium or flagellum show that they are covered with a plasma membrane. So this is the plasma membrane of cilia or flagella. Their core called exoneme. So the central structure present in this flagella is known as exoneme. They consist a number of microtubules that are running parallel to long axis. So they all are microtubules. And the exoneme usually has 9 doublets of radially arranged peripheral microtubules. So 9 doublets means 1, 2, they are doublets. They will be present in 9 number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so they consist of 9 doublets means 9 things will be present in doublet, 2 number of radially arranged peripheral microtubules. So they are microtubules. They are present in doublets and each consists of 2 and a pair of centrally located microtubules. So they are also microtubules. They are present in pair, but they will be present in central position and they will be present in radial position. Such an arrangement of exonemal microtubules are referred as 9+2 array. So if anyone asks you what is 9+2 array in case of microtubules, then you have to write its description. So first try to learn this diagram, then it is not required that you have to mug up the theory. Okay, so you are understanding, Shreya, or like
Ma'am, I'm understanding. It's clear.
okay, fine. So from where the cilia and flagella emerge, they emerge from the centriole like structure known as basal bodies. Okay, and the last portion, I think this is last, I'm saying it last, but it is not lasting. It's very long chapter. Okay, I am going to finish this chapter today. Okay. Centrosomes and centrioles. So what is centrosome? It is an organelle that is usually consisting of 2 cylindrical structures known as, I think I have explained you this diagram earlier
Ma'am,
also.
this part is over. Centrioles part.
So the next is nucleus. So I am skipping it, है ना? Because we have
nucleus भी हो गया था almost. बीच में आपने करवा दिया था.
बीच में करा दिया था ना, तो सारा समझ लिया. So I think I should not repeat it. You can like read this. If you find any difficulty, then I will explain you. Okay.
Ma'am, the DNA part is not over.
I'm see. I'll do it. Let me see from where I have to start. Nuclear space is over. Okay, so we have to start from here. Chromatin. What does chromatin means? So what is difference between chromatin and chromosome, Shreya? Can you?
Chromatin is disorganized and it is before reproduction phase, and then chromosomes are organized and they're in pairs, which is usually done for reproduction.
Okay. So single unit of chromosome is known as chromatin. Suppose if this single will be present, that it will be chromatid, and if they are paired and present like this, then this complete thing, they like that is composed of both of them is known as chromosomes. Okay. So what is chromatin? It contains the DNA and some basic proteins known as histone and some non-histone proteins and also RNA. So a single human cell consists of 2-meter long thread of DNA that is distributed among its 46, that is 23 pairs of chromosomes we have. So total is 46. So this 2-meter long DNA will be distributed between these for 23 pairs. Okay, so every chromosome that is consist of 2 chromatids will be visible in dividing cell only. It consists of a primary constriction. So what is primary constriction? Or the centromere, on the sides of which a disc-shaped structure is present, known as kinetochore. So this is primary constriction, that is the central region that connects 2 chromatids together. Okay, and what are kinetochores? So kinetochores are like some structures that will be present on both sides of the this primary constriction, and these kinetochores are responsible for binding to the spindle fibers during the division of the cell. When I think next chapter we are going to start that mitosis meiosis only. That is very interesting chapter, and that is related to this chapter. That's
Okay,
why
ma'am.
I like taught you this chapter, so that after that we will be going to study that chapter. So your complete portion related to this thing will be over.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So is there like your school is going to conduct any exams? So I have to finish your that portion, or is it
No,
fine?
ma'am, school portion is okay. The teacher, ma'am is only giving MCQ questions, so I can manage.
Okay. No, I will teach you that also, but I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
that is
No hurry.
related to this chapter, so I should finish that.
Okay,
And that
ma'am.
will be completed in 2 days. That is very small and very interesting chapter.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So a
ma'am.
centromere, this centromere holds 2 chromatids of a chromosome. So this is centromere. Okay, this is centromere. इसके दोनों साइड में kinetochore will be present, and it is responsible for holding 2 chromatids of a chromosome. So on basis of position of the centromere, the chromosomes can be classified into 4 types. So that is not primary constriction. I have told you wrong. Okay, so this is centromere. Okay, this diagram of chromosome is more clear. ये है आपका एक chromatid. This is your next chromatid, and this is centromere. Okay, so on the basis of position of this centromere, they may be of 4 types. If centromere will be present in center, then the chromosome is metacentric, and if centromere is quite upward from the center, then it is known as what, acrocentric, submetacentric. And if the centromere is very near to the tips of the chromosomes, then it is known as acrocentric. And if the centromere is just near to the tips, then it is known as telocentric chromosomes. Okay, and last is what are microbodies. So itna zyada not, it is not given in your book, but I have just added the diagram to make this thing interesting, so that if question is asked you can answer. So this is the structure of microbodies. They consist of an outer lipid bilayer, and this is the this yellow color represents plasma membrane, this green color represents lipid bilayer, and the central region consists of crystalline core. And what are microbodies? They are membrane bound vesicle like structures that consist of many enzymes, and they are present in both animals as well as in animals and plants. And what are their functions? Like the example of microbodies are 2 peroxisomes and glyoxysomes. They are type of microbodies. So what is the function of peroxisomes? They are membrane-bound organelles and present in most of the eukaryotic cells, primarily involved in lipid metabolism and conversion of reactive oxygen species such as hydrogen peroxide into safer molecules like water and oxygen. So this thing you have to remember. What are microbodies? They are spherical structures. Their outer layer is plasma, like they consist of plasma membrane, a lipid bilayer, and there are two types of microbodies: peroxisomes and glyoxysomes. Peroxisomes are responsible for like conversion of reactive oxygen species into oxygen and water, and they are involved in lipid metabolism. And the second is glyoxysomes. What are glyoxysomes? They are a special type of peroxisomes that are present in plants. Okay, and these peroxisomes basically are type of microbodies that are present in eukaryotes, and these glyoxysomes, they will be present in plants only. Okay, and what are their functions? Like this is extra from your book, beta, so don't get burdened ke you have to learn.
No,
Agar
ma'am, it's clear.
if it's possible, then remember, because in NEET, like they are going to ask different questions, so I have tried to add as much as I can add, so to increase your knowledge.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so they are present particularly in fat storage tissues of germinating seeds. So glyoxysomes basically will be found in the germinating seeds, and they will be found in filamentous fungus as well. So the seedling uses these sugars synthesized from fat until it get mature enough to produce them by their own photosynthesis. So glyoxysomes क्या करता है? They are responsible for storage of the fats, or they are present in large number. Like ये भी like vacuole storage का function करते हैं. So they are present in plants. So they are mainly present in the fat storage tissues. So this fat or this sugar is utilized by the seedling, utilized by the plant till it is not capable to produce their own food by the process of synthesis, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Okay, ma'am.
So chapter is complete.
Thank you, ma'am.
I think tomorrow there will be a holiday. So from Monday, we are going to start that chapter number 10, mitosis meiosis chapter. So I think on Monday and Tuesday in two class we will finish that chapter. So our
Okay,
two
ma'am.
chapters will be covered, and after that my regular classes for the next all the students will be starting. So I will teach you the same thing that I am teaching them, and for you, like for covering the rest of the portions, actually I am taking their alternate day class. Like I'll take their class on from now. I have to start, like for this week I will be starting from Wednesday, because till Tuesday they are having their exams. So Wednesday, Friday, Wednesday and Friday, two classes I will be taking for them. So उसके अलावा जो भी दिन हमारे पास बचेंगे from Monday to Saturday, I will be taking your classes.
Ma'am, so 2 chapters simultaneously.
Yeah, so
Okay,
that
ma'am.
like in classes where they will not be present, like from Monday, Tuesday, I'll be teaching you different thing that is already covered by them, and with
Okay,
them,
ma'am.
I will be teaching you the thing that I am teaching them. So
Okay, ma'am.
I think that will not create any burden on you, Shreya.
No, ma'am, it will be fine.
Okay? Otherwise, like our course will not be completed.
Okay, ma'am, it's okay.
It's
I'll
fine.
finish it. Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Okay, beta. One more thing, beta.
Yes,
Like,
ma'am.
is it possible for you to give test for the same chapter after 2-3 days?
Yes, ma'am, I'll give it on Wednesday or Tuesday.
Okay, I'll ask sir and we'll let you know. Okay, now I have your number, so I'll ask sir, and you start preparing the same. Search for the notes of this chapter in that Google Classroom. If
Yes,
you
ma'am.
tell me, I will give you. Okay,
Ma'am, is
and
it subjective or objective test?
which type of test you want?
Ma'am, either is okay.
Your school is conducting subjective test or objective test?
Objective.
Okay, then I have to ask sir. I
Okay,
think sir
ma'am.
will give you some study material or some booklet for that objective thing. Okay, let me discuss with sir, then I will let you know.
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
but
Thank
you
you.
start preparing for the test. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, bye, beta.